Talk some sports. It's Big D Energy.
Hey, yo, back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. My name is Neal, Ruhl. We got Jeff Iafrate in for D-Mac. He was called away to some last-minute Red Wings business today. Nothing to report. It's more of a community-based type thing that D-Mac is doing. But you know who we go to. We got Jeff Iafrate here in the building. Sam Flannel is here. Spencer Raxter's here. We are back. We are locked. We are loaded. And, Jeff, we are going heavy in the streets on college football today.
I'm excited. And I know we talked about it before the show as well, but it's the time of the year, Neal. And this is where the excitement rises.
Absolutely. And we are. We're getting deep into it, guys. Yep. We're doing it up. We're talking Michigan. We're talking Michigan State. We're talking Big Ten. We're talking all of it. Remember, you can get involved in what's going on the show. Our YouTube channel, if you're watching on our YouTube channel right now, subscribe if you're not subscribed to Woodward Sports, and tap in to that chat thread. Detroit Dabber first off this morning with the big what up, doe? What up, doe, everybody? Happy to have you guys with us. I missed y'all yesterday. Did I miss anything important yesterday?
Stick was yelling about rap songs. He wants players to shut up and dribble.
Oh, no. Of course he does. Yeah. What about you, Sam Flannel? Anything? Any good haps yesterday?
I mean, I kind of had to go at your boy Tom Kennedy.
Oh, he obliterated him.
But like that's.
Wait
that's
a minute.
He obliterated him, Neal. Which I actually wasn't necessarily opposed to what Sam was saying. It's just it's funny because he's the legend killer.
Yeah.
But not even Tom Kennedy is safe. He's killing everybody.
Let me hear that, please.
Okay, so this idea that Tom Kennedy is going to make a roster, it is just a creation of trying to create a guy into a folk hero. He's been good in the preseason, but who cares? They have 6 wide receivers you can name off of the top of your head that are going to make the roster above Tom Kennedy. And the fact that he's being treated like a cult hero by Lions fans is making me sick. He does not belong on this roster. He wouldn't even make the Packers roster, maybe the Bears. He should go to the practice squad where he belongs, and I just can't wait. He's going to get that knock at his door. And I hope we see it on Hard Knocks. Bring me your playbook, Kennedy. You're out.
Damn, bro. That's my guy, Mr. Kennedy.
Oh, and you're one of the culprits. And like I said yesterday, Roman Bruno in the back made that tweet, and I know it was kind of tongue-in-cheek about how he's the 2022 version of Cooper Kupp, which is just... And Roman will tell you that it was tongue-in-cheek, but he still put it out. And it wasn't obvious that it was tongue-in-cheek, but that is one of the top 5 stupidest tweets I've ever seen. And I love you, Roman, and we talked about it afterwards, but can't be doing that.
See, here's my thing about that, though. I think he does have a very good shot at making the roster. And look, if he doesn't, Sam, let me run this one by you. If he doesn't make the roster, then why do we do this nonsense with the preseason games?
Well, because you don't see what's going on in practice. I mean, who knows if Trinity Benson is clearly outplaying him. Even a guy like Maurice Alexander with his returning ability, which isn't as relevant once they moved up the line to kick off. It's usually just a touchback. But that's what we don't see. You see all too many times people who are practice squad or preseason superstars, like even Tom Kennedy last year, but don't do anything. He had a whopping, 6 catches for 54 yards? Like, ooh, a big touchdown throw on a gadget play. We're making a cult hero out of somebody who has done nothing and who will do nothing. This is a stacked wide receiver room. I mean, at least deep. So I don't think there's a place for Tom Kennedy. And I think that people should just, and I cannot wait for that phenomenon to die. Please.
Dom Rivera in the YouTube chat thread, go to the practice squad where you belong. That's so disrespectful. And Dom, I agree with you because, look, Jeff, these preseason games, right? That's what we're told. Who do we gotta keep an eye on Sunday?
Yeah.
Who's fighting for their life and everything? You know what? For real, if Tom Kennedy has done everything that you can do, literally everything.
Yeah, yes.
Makes every catch, puts up numbers, catches touchdowns, does all this. If he doesn't make the team,
it's not a knock on him. I think it's more so just the depth at wide receiver for the Lions.
Well, I mean, but what else do you want? There's no point to any of this. Just do the controlled scrimmages and let's play football.
Right. I agree
for
with
real. Stop selling me that. Who are we watching out? There's a big second half for somebody here this weekend in Pittsburgh. No, if it's already predetermined, then stop selling it to me.
Can we talk about too how he had less than 5 yards per catch in the last game? I mean, that's pretty bad. I know 2 of them were touchdowns, but 5 catches for 24 yards. That's good for a running back, but if you're a wide receiver, I mean, come on. He was a red zone merchant, which is important, but come on, you guys got to stop. I'm not going to use the phrase I used last week because it's not FCC appropriate, but just stop tripping over your own ding-dings to be like, Tom Kennedy. He's not even going to be relevant to this team at all.
You said it right. It's Tom Kennedy.
Neal, you're one of the culprits. I am the balance to your guys' insanity.
Kennedy.
Dude's out there making plays, man. Like, what else do you want from the guy? In games, he's making plays. That's the name of this.
It's preseason going against backups.
He's a backup, though.
Right. Like, so it fits.
Okay, but like, would he be putting up those numbers against starters? I don't think so. I don't think he's even.
If you gave him the usage.
No.
If you gave him the usage, he will make catches. It's proven.
He will. Proven.
Look at
6 catches for 54 yards last year. That's not
Kennedy.
Proven. That's not proven. Come on.
Kennedy.
What you guys should be focusing on is
Kennedy.
Is a guy like Austin Bryant, who actually might be relevant to this team, given depth to the pass rush.
Kennedy.
All right, fine.
Bum. Kennedy.
I think the more Neal says Kennedy, the more likely he's going to make the roster, Sam. I think that's just how it is.
That is it. But that's the thing. That's the cult hero type stuff. That doesn't matter. It means nothing. He's like a 5'10" white guy who's scrappy. Oh my goodness, is he scrappy? And he works so hard. And he's a smart player too. All the superlatives for people who have no talent.
Kennedy. You start calling him Mr. Kennedy too.
I will
give
not.
him the proper due respect.
He's Tom.
Kennedy.
He's just Tom.
Kennedy.
No.
I'm pro Tom Kennedy.
I know you are.
I am.
I know you are, and you're one of the people that's a problem for me, and that's okay. It's all love, but like you guys just
Kennedy.
If you guys were more rational about it, I wouldn't mind. But it's like you want to create a hero out of him. I mean, what is he? It's preseason. Who cares? It's nothing. He's going to lose his spot to even Trinity Benson. Trinity Benson will make the roster over him. You watch, and I will come in the next day. And I will.
No. And look, I'll go to this, and this is real, guys. Like, this isn't a shtick. This whole Trinity Benson, Tom Kennedy thing, and you can tell me about practice, and I know there's people out there that are in the room that are there once a month, but whatever. This Trinity Benson, Tom Kennedy thing, show us. Who's shown us? Who have you seen?
I mean, Tom Kennedy has done more in preseason, but we don't see what the coaches see. And I know you're saying, like, why even do it if you're not going to base it on preseason?
Right.
But they practice a lot. They go through OTAs and everything. And if Trinity Benson has a skill set that fits the Lions more, he will make the team. And I'm not defending Trinity Benson. I would say they should both be off the team, honestly. But, like, I don't understand the cult hero stuff. We're making them into, like, this little engine that could, which is what sometimes we do for untalented. What
about this one from the away fan? Ask not what Tom Kennedy can do for you. Ask what you can do for Tom Kennedy.
That is exactly the problem. That's exactly the problem. And now I'm starting to think if his name were like Tom, like Johnson, that he wouldn't make the team. Now that he's Tom Kennedy, it's that type of stuff. It's that type of cult heroes type nonsense that means nothing to football.
TK85.
Yeah.
According to our guy Easy.
Coming to a practice squad near you.
The next Calvin. I laugh at that one. But he showed us. You can't deny that, Sam Flannel. He showed us.
Like I said, it's preseason. He played.
Well, what other form is there to show us?
There is no other form. I'll admit there is no other form. But still, 5 catches for 24 yards. If you guys want to give me the 2 touchdowns, and not the first game notwithstanding, 5 catches for 24 yards. That's not sustainable. That's not good enough. That's because David Blau was your quarterback. And speaking of eyesores, but I don't know. I don't think that Tom Kennedy is needed on this roster if we're being completely serious. Because
Tom Kennedy has Blau and Boyle throwing the ball to him too. Think about that.
And
he's still Mr. Kennedy.
Hey, and that's true, but Blau will be throwing Kennedy the ball more often in practice squad sessions.
Jeff, where are you at with this whole Tom Kennedy mania? And I know we're going heavy college football, and usually I have some kind of like personal life thing to talk about in the first segment, but I wanted to weigh in on this because I am a big TK85 guy.
Yeah.
I am. Where do you stand right now?
I like Tom Kennedy, and I've said this. I think Tom Kennedy deserves to be playing snaps in the NFL. I believe that. I think he's good enough to be on a roster. The problem I have is just the depth the Lions have right now, and the only argument I would agree with is, Jameson being on the PUP list or, a receiver going down. I would honestly be okay with Tom Kennedy being on the roster, but to Sam's point, I just don't see it with the depth we have, and that was my only point. I actually appreciate Tom Kennedy because of the reasons you said, Neal. He showed us. He went out, he played well in the preseason.
And what else can he do? YouTube chat poll, real quick, before we get deep. That's right, Rose. Very easy. Trinity Benson, Tom Kennedy.
Okay. I put one up there already right before you said it.
Well, we know the answer to that one. Yeah. Tom Kennedy's much better than Marvin Harrison. But real quickly, I want a quick flash poll for everybody. Right? Who's going to make the team? Who would make your team, I guess? Who would make your team? Do you want Tom Kennedy or do you want Trinity Benson? Because that's what we're down to, right?
I'm taking Tom Kennedy 10 out of 10 times.
That's what I'm saying.
Over Trinity Benson. I'm sorry.
I think Trinity Benson has a better element of speed to his game. I think he's a little bit more explosive, even though he hasn't shown it.
I keep hearing about it.
Hey, but Tom Kennedy hasn't shown us anything either in the regular season. They're about the same, honestly, when it comes to regular season production.
Tom Kennedy threw a touchdown pass, too.
Oh, whoop-de-doo. Come on. It was a gadget play.
Sam, you brought up who did you bring up throwing a touchdown pass? Was whoever you said was better than Walter Payton threw a touchdown, so he's better than Barry Sanders.
Hey, that's not the main reason. That's not the main reason, though. And you got to admit, Walter Payton's got the numbers. Their numbers are fairly comparable, although Barry's are a little bit better on a per-game basis. But I just think Walter Payton's a more complete back, and that's it. It's 1 and 2. I'm not disrespecting Barry. I don't know how we digressed into that.
There it is. So, all right, we got a good sample size here. Tom Kennedy.
It's a landslide.
88%.
Big shock because he's the cult hero that everyone wants to believe in.
Well, they go off funny things like, results
in the
and actions. Well, what else is there, Sam Flannel?
I mean, last year he played a little bit, and so did Trinity Benson, and it was about the same. I mean, Trinity Benson, I just think he has a little bit more of a ceiling, a skill set. I don't think any of them are going to get real targets on this team unless they get decimated by injuries.
And I'm not saying, and I'm not saying, don't get me twisted. I'm not saying Tom Kennedy is going to be Hunter Renfrow, but to simply say a guy has a higher ceiling, I mean, when you look at your sixth receiver, I think that's probably your last concern. Who's more reliable, Sam? That's the question I'd ask, and Tom would make that case.
Well, you're kind of making the point that I'm trying to make, too, is that, if it's a 6 wide receiver, we shouldn't hype him up to the level that he is.
And I agree with that.
And that's the thing. I don't think either of them, if Trinity Benson and Tom Kennedy are seeing significant targets, I think that that's a bad thing, especially when you include even T.J. Hawkinson or even a Devin Funches. I think both of those guys are gonna see some targets. There's no room for Kennedy on this roster, or at least to get significant playing time.
313 Kurt, bro, this dude a clown. He disrespecting Tom Kennedy.
Disrespecting Tom Kennedy. I mean, come on. Is that really that big of a deal?
Steve Gamehenge, dog Sam with bad takes every time I tune in. LOL.
It's just Tom Kennedy. That's the thing. Yeah. It's just Tom Kennedy. If he makes the team, he is the 6th wide receiver. Or the 7th wide receiver once Jameson Williams gets back. I think he's going to the practice squad anyway. But
what do you think of Maurice Alexander? I actually love this because I like Maurice Alexander. And Spencer Easy just said in the chat, Maurice Alexander over Trinity Benson.
Well, the only thing I'll say to that is the return game, I don't think it's as valued in today's NFL once they move the kickoff line up 5 yards. It's mainly just touchbacks, but being a guy who can return, that is a skill that Tom Kennedy doesn't have, and that is something that Maurice Alexander does bring because he's going to get a few opportunities throughout the year. What if he takes one back? I mean, he almost did in the preseason, so I wouldn't mind having Maurice Alexander over Tom Kennedy.
Tom Kennedy, 82% in the YouTube chat poll. So book it, Tom Kennedy greater
never
than.
Won a poll in
right
my entire
there.
existence.
Absolutely,
so that's okay.
And you're not going to start today. Sam Flannel with the people. He needs a guardian.
Oh, he does. He does. He needs defense because the people are coming after Sam Flannel. Guardian Alarm keeps you safe, gives you peace of mind, whether you're at home or on the road. They're 24/7 local monitoring. Make sure what is important to you is safe. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT for peace of mind. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT right now and let them know Woodward Sports sent you.
Kennedy.
Tom Kennedy can stay.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello? Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man-meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Krogers, and if you want to know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You can get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
Jeff Iafrate here. I'm going to tell you about our friends from Big Frog. You can get a free, I said free, Woodward Sports t-shirt. That's right. All month long at Big Frog and Novi. Just stop in, tell them we sent you, and they will print one out for you on the spot. So go to Big Frog and Novi today and get your free t-shirt, or visit them online at bigfrog.com/Novi.
Off and running, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neal, Ruhl, Jeff Iafrate in for DMAC. We got Sam Flannel. We got Spencer Raxter here in the house as well. We got all of you. Appreciate you tapping in. Everybody's all fired up. Tev Sauce, too. I don't know why Brad Holmes traded up to get Jamison Williams. He already had Kennedy. But Hard Knocks tonight, so certainly it's going to be the Tom Kennedy takeover hour, and I can't wait to text Sam Flannel and all that. But we'll have a recap of it tomorrow. I did want to get deep into college football, and we're doing the college football this week heavy. I wore the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors shirt here today. I'm doing college football shirts. I got a couple of special surprises later on in the week.
Okay.
Our friends at Iowa sent me a shirt. I'm going to wear that one on Friday.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's the most Iowa shirt ever, too. So make sure you guys tap in for that. But I did want to, Tom Mazaway breaking the news, even though he's reporting it from somebody else, I'm sure. Who's better wide receiver, Tom Kennedy, Devontae Adams? I just clicked for Tom Kennedy. But, it's Kevin Durant staying with the Nets, so a shocker. Like, where else was he going to go? Yeah. But anyway, college football. And we're going to do deep with Michigan. We're going to go deep with Michigan State as well. But I want to survey the landscape of the Big Ten right now before we get into each individual case. Just a general. Where are you guys at with the Big Ten right now? And look, it's no secret. You guys know where I am with it. Ohio State is real. They have a pulse. Michigan has a pulse. Michigan State has a pulse as well. And that's about it as far as the Big Ten goes. I mean, are we there yet? And you guys maybe convert me in that I'm not seeing anything ever out of Iowa. I'm not seeing anything ever since Penn State joined the Big Ten. Nebraska's dead. Yeah. Dead. Wisconsin never wins a big game. Like, wait, where are you guys with the Big Ten? Because essentially, Jeff, all these teams, Michigan, and I talk about this, Michigan has a 2-game regular season. Ohio State, has a 2-game. It's 2-game regular seasons for these guys, and hey, it's good for business. I get it. You're always going to have representation in the college football playoff because your conference champion's always going to be 11-1, and they're always going to get in. But where are you guys at with the Big Ten?
I think the NIL is definitely, even out the playing field. You talked about Michigan State, university that's been utilizing the NIL, and I think in a couple of years you'll see the results of that. But it doesn't really, my opinion doesn't change much from where it was. You just said it. Ohio State's legit. Michigan, I think, this year is legit to a certain extent. I think MSU is right there. And I think eventually, talk about sustained success, I think Michigan State will have that when it's all said and done. But right now, Neal, I don't really have an opinion on it. I mean, Ohio State will make the college football playoff this year, of course, with that offense and defensively adding more pieces. But besides that, Michigan, I think, 2-game regular season. You talked about it. I think they'll beat State this year, and I think they'll lose to Ohio State. I mean, so they'll probably be 11-1, and that's what I expected all along. So the NIL definitely has evened out the playing field a little bit, Neal, but still, it's very top-heavy in the Big Ten, and you can't say anything different right now.
Brandon Katz, that's BS. Wisconsin's been a top program for years. They've dominated Michigan. The Big Ten championship isn't the only big game in college football. No, Brandon, it's what's Wisconsin done? What big win do they have? Tell me. I'll wait. Go ahead. Give it to me. That big national win where, a college football fan in, Butte, Montana said, man, Wisconsin's on the map. That's a big win for. They do nothing. They are Penn State. They are the exact same thing. And that's why, for me, and it's good, right? Again, I give the Big Ten props, man. In the boardroom, they're dominant. They're playing chess. Everybody else is playing checkers. I give them props for that. I'm just saying, it's fine if you're Michigan, if you're Ohio State, if you're Michigan State, you've proven that you can get to the college football playoff through the Big Ten. But nobody else does anything ever.
No. Is there a lie in that statement? I'm curious. I mean, I didn't hear one, so... It's funny when people come out of the woodworks, and I see Brandon Katz. Wisconsin has won multiple Rose Bowls with Barry Alvarez and Ron Dane. Interesting. Interesting.
Over 2 decades ago.
So they run, yeah.
So back in the 90s, because that's what you're telling me right now.
So they're on the same caliber as Ohio State, is what he's saying.
But see, that's my thing. Like, let's get off this, guys. What do we have? A 2-decade term limit on being an impact program? When you get out of this millennium, man, like, you're going too far back for me. Like, do something. And the whole Iowa thing. And look, I don't know if I were the Big Ten, and I'm not here to have the discussion of do you break them up, because you have to have Michigan play Ohio State. The TV ratings dictate it. Your television contract you just signed with Fox. And look, you guys know my thoughts on Michigan football, right? To know I believe to be an overrated program. But the bottom line is this: when they play, you watch. And when I say you, I mean everybody across the country watches. They've got a great name brand. As I've talked about before, they're a corporation.
They are.
Make no mistake. They don't even have fans. They have constituents or shareholders. Like that's what, and it's fine. Like, hey, they're doing it. It's working. They're getting away with it. That's cool. It's just, for me, you have to have Michigan play Ohio State because that's your moneymaker. That's why you got a $7 billion television deal from Fox. Well, Michigan, Ohio State, and because of Rutgers and Maryland.
Yeah, the markets. Yeah.
You did. Like that's what put all this in place. I've been talking about that for a very long time, longer than a lot of other people in this town. You know what I'm saying? Like it's that. So I don't know what the answer is. But maybe, do you guys like it this way? I mean, Sam Flannel, you're a Michigan slap. Real talk. Are you happy with the Big Ten right now? Do you enjoy it?
I mean, the Big Ten West is just kind of set up to be a sacrificial lamb to the Big Ten East champion every single year. I would like it to be a better conference because there'd be better games. It could also mean that Michigan is, less likely to win it, but I also root for the Big Ten. I also would like to see them do well. And honestly, right now, it's Ohio State #1 by a mile still, and then Michigan, Michigan State. Penn State actually did win a Big Ten title in 2016 when they had Saquon Barkley. That was a really good team, but usually they're going to Penn State, especially with James Franklin as their coach. He tends to make some very bad mistakes at inopportune times. So right now, it's not a power conference. It's the SEC and everybody else. And I don't love that, but I'm kind of at this point resigned to that's just the way it is. Although with USC coming in, I think that could be the team that sort of takes this conference to the next level. Am I happy with the Big Ten right now, though? I would say no. There's a lot of mediocrity. A ton of mediocrity is the word I would use for it.
And that's where, I want to... Nomahe says Iowa will beat Michigan this year at Kinnick. And, possibly it's that night game. I mean, Purdue doesn't seem to struggle when they go into Iowa. When Iowa gets ranked number 2 in the nation. And when I sit here on this microphone and say, guys, they're going to lose to Purdue. They're going to lose because it's Iowa. And Iowa's always going to Iowa. Mm-hmm. And, it's just, for me, I think that they're so bad that I guess it doesn't hurt it, right? You're going to get teams in. You're going to get teams in the playoff on the regular, so I guess it doesn't hurt it. If anything, I guess it helps you. Maybe I'm wrong.
And Brandon Katz makes a good point. And this is I think the bigger picture of what we're saying. The Big Ten is still solid. It's just not the SEC. And that's, to say that statement, we agree with you. Our point is how top-heavy it is, number one. But number two, the mediocre teams, like Sam said, there's a lot of teams in the Big Ten where they're just there to be sacrificial lambs.
But is it even top-heavy, or is it Ohio State-heavy right now, if I'm just being honest? Michigan won one Big Ten title last year in 17 years, and Michigan State won a couple in the mid-2000s. I still think it's Ohio State and everybody else for
realistically,
now.
You're right.
Yeah.
But I think,
Well, there's some Notre Dame qualities, right, to Michigan and Michigan State
for sure.
that... I think that they're all comparable in that. Throw Oregon similar in that mix. To a degree, Auburn's in that mix as well.
The perpetual 8-15 or something like that,
right.
Just every single year. I get it. I'm just saying, when you think of top heavy, I still think Ohio State. Although Michigan, they could get there, but they're not there yet, and Michigan State isn't there yet either.
And Rich Diana says Iowa plays it old school, and that's part of the problem. Klomsaw says SEC is top heavy AF, but the difference is look at the top. There's multiple tops. Go through the national champions in the last 15 years.
Alabama, Auburn, LSU, Georgia, Florida, every single
Florida
one of those
won a
teams,
pair.
they did in this millennium. So, that just shows you something. When you look at the national champions of the past, I'd say even 20-some years, it's just the SEC Invitational Party, honestly.
And Ohio State and Clemson.
Yes, fair enough. But has anybody won a national championship? Well, USC, obviously, when they had Pete Carroll as their coach, and they were really humming. But it's mainly been an SEC, Clemson, Ohio State phenomenon. And then USC. Has anybody else? I don't think so.
Or Texas. Didn't Texas?
Yes,
Texas popped one,
Texas with Vince Young. But still, my point still stands. SEC is king by a country mile because they've won a bunch recently from different teams. You think it's just Alabama. No. 5 teams have won a national championship in the SEC in the past 20-some years.
On the YouTube chat thread, Mega Professional says, Penn State has been a pretty respectable team in the Big Ten. When? Where? Wait, have I missed this?
2016.
Because I think they've been pretty mid.
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 Yeah.
They have been, though, man. Remember when they came in, for those of you that are a little bit older, remember when Penn State came into the Big Ten and everyone's like, oh, boy, here we go, man. Penn State, they're going to get in here. They're going to bring this thing to another level. And they are mid. They're as mid as can be.
Yeah.
And I talked about, Nebraska's dead. Mm-hmm. They're dead on arrival.
They were good for a couple of years, and then, they're
dead on arrival.
They're dead.
Yeah.
Do you still believe in it? That's the question, man. You're Michigan. I go to you.
Yeah.
You're Michigan State, born and bred, man. That's your thing. What's your take on it? It's good for you guys, right? You can get in the national championship.
Yeah,
playoff.
It's good for us, but I do think the only team that can realistically compete with SEC teams year in and year out on that kind of level is Ohio State on the Big Ten.
But aren't there questions? And we'll get into that a little bit more. And I know we're blowing past the break, but aren't there questions about Ohio State and Ryan Day?
Yeah.
When is he gonna do it? When is he gonna show us? I keep hearing about Ohio State.
Show us
this year.
This year, yeah.
Okay.
They're gonna be on a revenge tour.
Stacked. But that defense. What's the big improvement on that team last year where I was told, the The defense is mid. They're not very good. Like, what's the huge improvement? I don't see it.
Yeah, and if you look at the SEC, and Spence kind of brought it up as well, like Ohio State is a juggernaut as they are offensively. I think that's what separates also those top SEC teams, not even just offensively, but defensively. That's what separates these guys. Both sides.
Yeah, I don't know how it's going to go. Robert Closer says USC's problem is that all the Big Ten road games are a long way away. Playing in Eastern Time Zone is tough for West Coast schools. And, I agree, but Robert, like, how many tough road games are they going to have?
2. Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
2 maybe.
And there'll be years where they just have 1.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. So, like, I don't know, man. This whole Big Ten where it sits right now, I don't see that depth. So, I mean, good for Ohio State, good for Michigan, good for Michigan State, because they're the players. And that's not what I think. It's what I know. It's what I've seen. Now, I haven't seen Ryan Day do it yet.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Ohio. And through all this, right? And you guys know me. Like, I'll kind of anticipate how things are going to go. And this Ohio State team, man, if it's not this year, when is it? When is it going to be? Because I keep hearing about Ryan Day, but I haven't seen it yet. And I know it's new. I understand. I still know it's new. There's a lot on the line for Ryan Day and Ohio State this year.
Sure.
A lot. Well, you're going to do the Michigan deep dive when we come back. We will certainly get into that. Whole segments, guys. We're going college football AF here. Like, that's how we're doing it. Whole segment, Michigan. Whole segment, Michigan State. There's a lot of other stuff, too, that I want to get into about it. Do these teams have to validate? Does Michigan State have to validate? Does Michigan have to validate? We're going to talk about it all, just as I'm going to tell you about Big Boy, with the ciabattas, the summer salads, and the hand-dip shakes, all of it at Big Boy. Nothing mid going on over at Big Boy. The Chicken Club, chicken cordon bleu, sunrise ham and cheddar, all on grilled ciabatta bread. You can have salads too. Michigan apple salad, chicken Caesar, the Greek salad if you want to keep it light. And don't forget the payoffs at the end, the hand dip, cookies and cream, or strawberry shake. You heard it here first. Summer is better at Big Boy. Fellas, let's be honest. We like things to be easy. We like simple stuff, like sports 7 days a week. We like things uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play. And before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m.
It took exploring 50 different formulas and hosting countless taste tests, but we believe Gypsy Vodka is the smoothest vodka on the market. Don't believe us? Ask the owners.
We're Mike and Adam Kazanowski with High Five Spirits Distillery. We're in close to about 1,200 locations throughout Michigan. We wanted to create a brand that was geared more towards freedom, love, adventure, and at the end of the day, we really wanted to tell a story that inspired other people to take risks, follow their dreams, whatever that might be.
Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, college football extravaganza here on a Tuesday. Neal, Ruhl, Jeff Iafrate in for DMAC. Got called away to some Red Wings community duties here today. Jeff Iafrate, being the man of integrity that he is, A, believes in Tom Kennedy, and B, will come running when asked to do so. Sam Flannel, the legend, killer in the house. Spencer Raxter on the ones and twos. We're doing it. Quick little poll. Who's a better wide receiver, Devontae Adams or Tom Kennedy? It's a tight race. Tom Kennedy at 53% of the vote. Cleaning up the Big Ten discussion. And, I asked the question, man. I'm like, if you're a Michigan or a Michigan State fan, even Ohio State fan, are you happy with the Big Ten right? You're happy with the check. I know that, and let's be real, that's all that matters. But I'm talking about like the college football geeks and dorks like me. I love college football, man. Mm-hmm. It's my favorite sport to watch. I love it. I love that there are different styles out there. Like, you guys know me. I want a bunch of points. I want 65 passes in a game.
Right.
That's what I like. There are some people, how else could you explain Big Ten football, that they love the running game, run into the pile and stuff like that. And that's fine. You get it all. But I love it. But to just clean up here on the YouTube chat thread, Juice's Ghost, I got to go to work. Iowa sucks. See y'all later. Sam Flannel smells like old cigarettes.
Kennedy.
Clomp Sauce, Florida sucks since Tebow left. and the one Auburn got was a fluke. You don't fluke your way into a national championship, man.
They also got a runner-up against Florida State a few years later, so that's not a good argument, man.
Yeah, having Cam Newton have the best collegiate season of all time.
Yeah,
is not a fluke.
Like an NFL MVP as well. Yeah, nothing fluky about that one. He's just good. I'm not saying he's good now, but he was good. Yeah. Good enough to be the MVP of the NFL. So I would tend to lean towards that. Was that a fluke too?
Make a Super Bowl? Is that a fluke?
Yeah. Is it a fluke? Wyatt Bayer says Nebraska never should have fired Pelini. I wonder about that. But could Pelini, are they savable? I don't even know that they're savable anymore. Streetwise says Nebraska in the 90s was the heyday, similar to University of Michigan. So, it's one of the things that, for me, and here's this Looted Corpse, SEC D's nuts. Okay, so you always need that one as well. Wyatt says Florida State stole that one like crab legs. There we go. We're covering all of it. Everyone get them all out now.
Oh, yeah.
Here we go. Michigan.
With the snap.
Yeah. Michigan. And we're going to talk Michigan State next segment. The critical question I have for Michigan fans, and again, we'll go to Sam Flannel. Spencer Raxter's turn in the spotlight comes next segment. Sam Flannel, I go to you. I want Jeff Iafrate's interjections as well. I am of this opinion to where I think that Michigan needs to do it again to validate what happened last year. Now, hold on, hear me out here. Do I expect that? From a talent perspective, no. You lose 2 pseudo first-round NFL draft picks off your defense. It's tough, unless you're Alabama, to be at that level again. It's tough. I understand that. They have a very, very good offense. I think Donovan Edwards is a star. Could be, with the proper usage, could be like a fringe Heisman contender. He won't get that usage, but he could. As a Michigan fan, Sam Flannel, do you, as a fan of Michigan, do you need them to get into that stratosphere again to validate? Because you know what happens. The schedule allows for – they are guaranteed to be undefeated going into the Michigan State game. Guaranteed. They'll be a touchdown-plus favorite in that Michigan State game at home. Is that fair?
Yes, that is fair. And do they need to validate? I would say yes to some extent, but I will define validate, at least for this conversation, as you absolutely have to go into the Ohio State game undefeated, ranked like top 4 in the country, and then roll the dice against Ohio State because they are very talented. That offense, especially if you start J.J. McCarthy, could be explosive, and it'll still be really, really good even if it is Cade McNamara, just because the schedule allows for it, and the running game could be elite, especially if Donovan Edwards and Blake Corum turn into the 1-2 punch, the best 1-2 punch in the nation. Ohio State, though, that's going to be tough playing in Columbus, something they haven't done since 2000. Although if Michigan does run the table and actually beats Ohio State, wins the Big Ten title, gets to the college football playoff, that would absolutely validate last season.
100%.
That would be where you could finally say Michigan is a top-tier program right now that actually wins Big Ten championships and gets to the college football playoff. That would be where Michigan would get more national respect. But if they at least go into the Ohio State game undefeated with a chance, I will be okay, because to me there's no shame in losing to this Ohio State team with that offense. But
see, that's not a big time program thought process though. You know what I'm saying? See, that's what I'm talking about. Are you going to be a favorite in that game, Jeff? No, they're not going to be a favorite. But you know what? Big programs find a way to win those games, man. They do. Should you win it? No. But you got to find a way. The coach has got to find a way. A player's got to make a play to find a way. See, and I think I'm not going to say you speak for a lot of Michigan fans because the people largely hate you, but it's one of those things. For me, I think you echo the sentiments of a lot of Michigan fans, where if they run the table and they lose to Ohio State, but they'll go to a Rose Bowl because Ohio State will be going to the playoff, and it'll be like a backdoor way into the Rose Bowl. Michigan fans will be fine with that, and they'll love that. And no, this is the year where you have to push through, in my opinion. Jeff, am I out of line here, Jeff?
No, you're not. I actually liked what Sam had to say as well. I think every point you made, I agree with. I think for Michigan, they have to be undefeated going into Ohio State, but that's the mindset that Neal's talking about. I agree. I don't think you should go into that game thinking, well, we just can't get blown out. I think you still need to be competitive, of course, but the difference is, and you talked about it in the morning show, Sam, the loss of Aiden Hutchinson now. You're not going to get your 15 pressures. You're not going to have just the circumstances you had last year. So I think that's the difference. This year, Neal, Michigan, I still think, is if they can make the playoffs again, that's how you establish yourself nationally. So I agree with that. But if you lose, and I think they'll beat State. They have to beat State. Sorry, Spence. They have to.
They do.
They do. And you even would agree with that.
I think they will, yes.
They got to beat them both.
They have to beat them both.
They got to beat them both.
And if you even lose to Ohio State, I don't know if I can let them off the hook.
That's the thing, too. Like where Sam Flannel says, if you go to Ohio State and lose, then that's where I don't break off from that discussion. It is all or nothing for them.
Right.
And, it's the discussion, too, and Nico on a YouTube chat thread. Last year wasn't a fluke for Michigan, but to get the respect we need, we do have to get as far as we got last year. If we lose to XSU, quote, last year was a fluke. That'll be the narrative.
That's because XSU.
Yeah. Well, instead of putting the O there.
Oh.
So, you know that bit.
Yeah, that's so
but it is that. Like, that very much is the reality. And look, right now, Jeff, is this Michigan team this year, top to bottom, as good as that Michigan team last year?
Defensively, no.
You can't. And again, Ojabo was a first-round pick that
and
got
Dax Hill.
Dax Hill.
Dax Hill
was absolutely. He was a high draft pick as well. You don't lose that kind of talent again unless you're Alabama or Georgia.
But at the same time, like, if they lose all those defensive players and they go into Ohio State facing C.J. Stroud, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Travion Henderson, three offensive linemen that are going to be pros, is that really anything to be ashamed of? I get that in order to, if
we're not talking about being ashamed though, Sam Flannel. We're talking about you have to validate this year. You do, because that narrative will flip right back, man.
You don't have to beat Ohio State this year for Michigan to get respect. If they do, that would be phenomenal.
If you lose to them, it's the same old thing, Sam. It is.
But people will understand.
It becomes 4 years out of 21 or
but
whatever?
Ohio State, that offense is just loaded, and Michigan is losing so much on defense. It would take a parlay of one of the new defensive linemen like Mozzie Smith or Mike Morris hitting, and like the linebacking core and the defensive backs actually panning out like we hope they will. That's their way forward on the defensive end. And I just think that Ohio State offense, I'm just being realistic. They need to go into that game undefeated, and if they don't, I will lose my mind. I'll be throwing things. I'll come in here off that loss after like a 2-day bender. But losing to Ohio State will not be anything to be ashamed of at all. Ohio State in Columbus, they haven't won since 2000. That is a stacked team. If they win, great, but they're not as talented.
And Michigan lost both coordinators.
It depends how they lose, too. I think the circumstances in which how they lose would definitely matter.
But Neal's saying, like, if we don't, it's like a failure, blow up the program, they didn't validate. I think that is a little bit too harsh. There's some nuance. If Michigan is not as good as Ohio State and they lose in Columbus, I don't think that's the end of the world. Will it not validate for some?
I'm not saying it is the end of the world, but it's, to me, with that schedule that you have set up, and look, both things can be true. If I were Michigan and I were Harbaugh, or if I ran a college football team, I would do it the same way because there's no penalty. Because I'm Michigan and because I'm in the Big Ten. So I can play Hawaii and UConn and Colorado State, and it doesn't matter. There's no penalty for me. I can have a 2-game regular season because that's what they have. Because Iowa's mid, Penn State's mid, Nebraska's dead. Like, the Big Ten is just outside of this top 3. There's nothing certainly that I'm afraid of. Can it be tough? It was tough for them to go in to Penn State and win last year. They had to find a way, but they did because it's Penn State and it's James Franklin, and they suck. Like, that's the way that it is. But Eli Garcia here in the YouTube chat thread says, Neal will never be convinced that Michigan is the best program in the country. We could win 3 natties in 5 years, and Neal will still be a hater. You guys don't believe that, do you?
Does anybody believe that? Who believes that Michigan is the best program in the country? Like, nobody believes that because it's not true.
If they won, Eli, if they win 3 of the next 5 national championships, yes, they are the best program in the nation. Yes, they are. Go ahead and bet that one. Please throw your money. Yeah. Throw your money on that one. It's just, for me, man, That's where it is. They got to validate, because if not, I'll ask a Michigan State fan this question.
Yeah.
You guys haven't been back, right?
Right.
What's been the narrative?
They can't do it. They're only worried about Michigan. They're not in the national scene. That's what happens.
And that's the same thing for Michigan. They're only worried about Ohio State, but now they beat them last year. But can you do it again this year? And I think someone brought up a point, and I missed the comment. I wish I can go back to it. Nomahe said, if Michigan loses against Ohio State, they'll lose national respect, and everyone will say Michigan can only beat bad Big Ten teams. Like that's
what's on the line,
that's
though,
the narrative
guys.
you're talking about.
But this is what's on the line.
Yeah.
I mean,
make no mistake.
Did they beat Ohio State in 2021 though? So that doesn't make sense. I understand, like 1 year later, they have an easy schedule. They should be undefeated, but they did do it in 2021. They are capable. Playing on the road in Columbus with losing 3 first-round picks on your defense, it's not going to be an easy game. It's not something where it's like if you lose that.
Do Alabama fans say that?
No, but Michigan's not Alabama.
Does Georgia say that?
Michigan is not running.
But that's what I'm talking. If you want to get to that level, these are the games you got to win a game that you're not favored in at some point.
If they want to get to Alabama and Georgia, Clemson level, then yes, they need to win that game, win the Big Ten, and go to the college football playoff. I will give you that. Fair enough.
You think Mr. Kearney would say that Michigan has to beat Ohio State?
Yes. I can't do this, man, with Sam Flannel. I really can't. I really can't. I do want to say one thing, too, on top of what Sam just said, because I think it was interesting. You talking about if your expectations are for Michigan to get to where Alabama, Georgia, and these teams are, then I agree with you. But until then, I'm going to tell you about our friends at the Academy of Warren. Because the Academy of Warren, this summer is almost over and it's time to get back to school. Listen, we all know this. So if you haven't enrolled your child anywhere yet, look no further than the Academy of Warren. Join us Friday from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. for a carnival and a parent orientation. While the bottom line, you have Braylon and Ryan broadcast live from the event. Enjoy games, barbecue, rides, and register for the school year on the spot. Come see what the Academy of Warren is all about.
Hey, it's Scott from the Woodward Bet Show. Hey, don't mind me. Just count my fun coupons from my Yankee victory yesterday. We've been red hot over there at the Woodward Bet Show at 4:30. You guys got to make sure you get over there and check it out. You also got to get over to that app store and download oddstrader.com. It's got live scoring, play-by-play updates, and it's the best place to check all the odds of sports books right in the palm of your hands. But hey, let's get back to those winners. Let's bounce right back to that Yankee-Mets series. Listen, Mets are 34-10 after a loss. We're going to roll with that. Let's take the Mets as underdogs. Oddstrader.com. Woodward Bets. Check it out.
Game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
On and poppin', talking heavy college football here. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Going to get into the Michigan State side of things coming up in just a couple of minutes. But on the YouTube chat thread, Jack Harrington says, how mad will you be if Michigan State beats Michigan, Sam?
Oh, man. I will be the most angry I've ever been after a football game my entire life. I will come into work on Monday coming off of a bender with my flannel like unbuttoned, haven't showered in 2 days.
Mustard stains on it and stuff.
Oh, my God.
Eye crust,
I
all
will
of
too,
it.
but for
another reason. It's not going to happen, though. Michigan, I think this is the year where I think they blow out Michigan State, honestly. I think this is the year where they're motivated, they're more talented. They have to. It would just be... I can't have Michigan State go 11-4 against Michigan since 2007. That might actually make me think of...
Well, they're already 10-4 as it sits right now.
Yeah, so one win.
And that is that's unacceptable.
That's what's crazy to me about all this. Like every year, that's like Sam Flannel's narrative is like, I won't be able to take it this year. They've won 10 of the last 14, man. Like that's the reality.
And is it bad that, and not to digress, that I kind of blame a guy like Mike Hart for sort of birthing...
Yes, that's bad. ignorance right there.
Oh, come on. For calling him little brother in 2007 and sort of birthing the monster that was Mark D'Antonio becoming the best coach in school history. I'm not saying that Mark D'Antonio wouldn't have happened without it, but Mike Hart to me is the personification of Michigan arrogance without accomplishing anything on a national level. 0-4 against Ohio State, 1-3 in bowl games. Sit down.
Casino says if Michigan loses to Ohio State and they're both undefeated, both teams are undefeated, they both will still go to the playoffs. No, I don't think they're going to put a team in that doesn't go to their conference championship game.
No, that Michigan won't. A one-loss Michigan doesn't deserve to make the playoffs playing that schedule. Honestly,
right. And that's what I mean. Obviously, you have to look at. I need the data of everything else that happened. It could happen,
right?
But I don't think that it's going to happen.
No, and actually, I got to bring this comment up because I love this. Is a good take by Brandon. I got to say, Michigan's season is defined every year by the Ohio State game. They don't win national titles, and the Big Ten title isn't as big of a game as beating Ohio State. And I think that's kind of the point we're trying to make as well. Like you have one game, beat them.
Nick Saban just got a $93.6 million contract.
Oh, now I know why. Now I know why you made that noise. Man.
I told you guys how it works down there.
Mm-hmm.
I've told that story before. Sam, have you heard my Alabama booster story before?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard that.
Straight from their mouth, man. The man looked me in the eye. And I asked him, this was 2015. I think we went down there to play Alabama. And, like, the town was empty because everyone had gone to Miami for the national championship game against Notre Dame. And one of their boosters was at the arena. And I was talking to him. And I said, do you guys ever get concerned that the NFL is going to come calling again for Nick Saban? And he looked me right in the eye with that southern accent. And he goes, shoot, we got a special fund for that. and then, like, 8 months later, Nick Saban's house mysteriously got paid off.
Yeah.
Like the boosters just paid off the man's house. And so now he just got a $93.5 million. Like,
what if I could get paid more and have more control, Neal? Sign me up. Sign me up. He's doing it the right way.
Yeah. Go Blue in a YouTube chat thread says, please just beat MSU.
It's funny how the expectations change. Like Spencer brought up, you're only worried about Michigan, and now we have Michigan fans saying, please just beat Michigan State. That is all we're concerned about. And Ohio State, of course, but tides have turned.
Mega Professional says, if Michigan's only beating bad Big Ten teams, then the same goes for Ohio State and Michigan State. No exceptions. But the difference is Ohio State cashed one in. That's the difference. They looked Alabama in the eye. They went into those waters, and they won. That's the difference. I didn't hear about how, well, they weren't supposed to win anyway or any of that kind of stuff. That's the difference. Championships are the difference. When D-Mac gets back in the seat, look at that, ask him the same question. When they lost to Colorado or when they lost to New Jersey and they're looking around in the locker room going, man, are we ever going to do this? Like that, you have to find a way. That's why it's not just beating – they're bad Big Ten teams when you're Ohio State because you beat them all the time and you win the national title. That's why. And even then, like being real – that Ohio State championships, because everything's sped up now, right, in today's day and age in college football. Mm-hmm. And it is, what have you done for me lately? Sam Flynn, how many years ago was that?
It was 2014.
We're pushing a decade.
Yeah, and that team, Ezekiel Elliott, he was the star of that team. That was the best running back in Ohio State history. That dude was unstoppable. He shredded
What about
Alabama.
Eddie George?
Oh, Eddie George. Get the hell out of here. Mr.
I'm with you.
3.5 yards a carry every single season for Tennessee. Get out of here with Eddie George. Ezekiel Elliott, way better than Eddie George. He's in a different stratosphere as an Ohio State running back and as a pro running back. Remember, Ezekiel Elliott was pretty good his first few years.
Yeah. Jack Harrington, Saban's 71 years old, Neal. He is not going anywhere else. Well, Jack, this was almost 10 years ago. This was 2015 that I got told that. It was still – that was when you were still hearing those debates and those conversations where, what's going to happen. But then again, we went through that coaching staff that Alabama had that 2025 year, just how sick.
They're stacked.
Yeah, just like Mel Tucker was their defensive backs coach.
Brian Dable worked there a couple years ago.
Yeah, Mario Cristobal was the offensive line coach. I mean, it's
they got dudes. Yeah, they got dudes, man. They do.
Yeah, it was incredible. But it is. It's one of those things where What's the talk about props to Franklin and Penn State, but not to D'Antonio and Michigan State? What's going on with that one?
Brandon Katz said D'Antonio was not a great coach, even though he's the all-time winningest coach in school history when multiple Big Tens made it to a playoff.
Yeah, my only knock is the way it went down at the end.
Well, yeah.
Hurt his legacy to me.
That was the, transfer portal took over and he couldn't keep up.
Yeah, I mean, the way that it ended kind of hurt the legacy. But at the same time, I got to be consistent, right? Like when I talk about... But see, the difference was it was kind of put on Joe Dumars. It wasn't put on D'Antonio. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a difference.
Yeah, and I think my problem with it is him saying he was a solid coach. Like, solid? And you talk about what you just mentioned, the accolades he has. I mean, I get it, but if you're taking it in totality, I disagree. I think he's a great coach. Depends how you want to classify it.
Yeah,
he did burn down what he built, though. Does the name Dave Warner give you cold sweats, Spencer?
A little bit.
But that doesn't discredit, everything else. I think that's what people. It's all like you said before. It's what have you done for me lately, and that's what they remember about D'Antonio. Mm-hmm. So apparently that's the narrative. Right. Discredit everything else. We'll just
114 and 57 all time in Michigan State, but that's not great.
No, it's you know how it works, Spence.
Pretty impressive numbers, man. Pretty impressive numbers at Planet Fitness, too. We are live from the Planet Fitness studios, and Planet Fitness is home of the judgment-free zone where you can work out in a non-intimidating, judgment-free atmosphere. Membership starts at just $10 a month for access to your home club. There's a black card option. If you're a big baller, that black card, $24.99 per month. Yes, less than $1 per day still. Get you used to the amenities, the unlimited tanning, hydro massage chairs, etc. Also get you access to over 2,000 Planet Fitnesses around the world with unlimited guest privileges. You can join today in club. You're going to pass a couple on the way home, or you can jump on your computer, go to planetfitness.com, and join right there. It's Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential.
When you need apparel, there's only one place to go. Big Frog in Novi. With no setup fees, no artwork fees, no minimum, and a 24-hour turnaround, you can have your whole team outfitted in no time. Embroidery, direct-to-garment, vinyl, and screen printing, Big Frog has it all in all the styles you want. So whether it's a sports team, fundraiser, school event, or corporate needs, Big Frog is your one-stop destination. Visit bigfrog.com/Novi or call 844-4-BIG-FROG.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Life is full of hard choices. We're here to make one of life's biggest decisions as simple as possible. My name is Christina Gennari, and for over 20 years, I've helped hundreds of families buy and sell homes. We cover all of Metro Detroit and more, from large luxury homes to starter homes. We will work hard to make sure that you get the home of your dreams. So if you're in the market today or even thinking about buying or selling in the future, make the obvious choice. Christina Gennari, the obvious choice in real estate. Visit us at soldchristina.com today.
At Alta, uptime matters. Alta Equipment has everything you need to get the job done. Have a big project coming up? Alta Rent has you covered. Call them today, 844-GO-TO-ALTA. That's 844-GO-TO-ALTA today.
Pulling up on the second hour of the show, Neal, Ruhl, Jeff Iafrate in for Darren McCarty. Got called away to some special Red Wings community duties. Happy to have you all with us. Sam Flannel here in the house as well. Spencer Raxter. And it is Spencer Raxter's turn now to take center stage because the topic shifts. And we're talking wall-to-wall college football here today. So, Michigan State, who I think has a very similar setup in terms of seasons, as does Michigan, based on what they did last year. You can say what you want about how the things ended with, who sat out of the bowl games and who didn't play and what the college football structure's like and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
For Michigan State, they were in a New Year's Six bowl game. Period. End of story. They beat Michigan. Period. End of story. So it was a pretty... again, you dance back and forth on that. And, Spencer, I'll ask you this before we even get into it, because check me on this. Mark me, as they would say in Outlander.
Okay.
Am I being consistent to say that it was a good season for Michigan State to whereas if I talk about if Michigan would have had Michigan State season, I would have been left wanting more. Am I being consistent? Because I know how you view Michigan State. You're in those waters.
Yeah.
It's you and Michigan. You guys are equals.
Yeah.
Right? That's how you consider it. That's how Michigan State as a whole considers it. Am I being disrespectful to the Michigan State fan base to say last year was a good year, but if it were Michigan, I would have said I wanted more from Michigan?
No, it's 100% reasonable. Michigan State outperformed everything they were expected to do last year. At the beginning of the season, they were expected to have like 4 wins. Like people had them as a 4-win team. And obviously Kenneth Walker came out of nowhere, took everybody by surprise, was the best running back in the nation. And you got to replace that. It's hard to replace that. It's hard to replace 2 offensive weapons like Kenneth Walker and Speedy Naylor, who were so imperative to your offense, to the success of that. But we still got Jalen Reed, we still got Peyton Thorne, so they're going to make a lot of plays. But yeah, it is. Yeah, it was a good season for Michigan State. Did I want to see more? Yes. Did I not want their secondary to be the worst in FBS? Yes. But,
Which they were.
They were the worst in FBS. And so that's, an upset. They can't get any worse than they were last year, so maybe that'll be better. But, when all things are said and done, we got this boy still. But, no, you obviously want more. You need more. And we're going to see more.
Yeah, so, I mean, Jeff, what about that? Does Michigan State need to replicate? And look, being consistent, again, there are similar qualities, I think, for Michigan State going into this year because on paper, this team isn't expected to be as talented as that team was last year. You lose Kenneth Walker, obviously. That's Heisman candidate. Like, that hurts you. Same thing for Hutchinson and Ojabo and Daxton Hill. Like, that hurts you. But they, on paper, they're not expected to replicate last year. But you know what? Again, being consistent, sometimes you got to rise up, man. Mm-hmm. Like, if you want to be a good program, to great program, sometimes you got to rise up.
Yeah, it's not their fault. They got there quicker than a lot of us expected. I mean, you win 10 games last year under Mel Tucker, and maybe it's a benefit to them that they're not going to have the same expectations coming in this year. I think it's more of a long-term play with MSU. I think eventually they're going to be in the conversation consistently. I really do believe in what Mel Tucker's building, especially with the NIL. He's so far. I mean, I talked to our guy Owen in the back who helps cover Michigan State football, and he's another guy that talks very highly of Mel Tucker and what they're doing. So I have no worries. I think it's honestly going to benefit them this year that people are kind of underlooking him, however you want to put it. But yeah, I think they're going to be just fine in a couple of years. I think eventually when it's all said and done, maybe not this year, but in a couple of years, it's going to be a real conversation. Who has a better program right now?
Spence, I got to hit you with this one because I'm curious to get your take. Chuck Brewer on our YouTube chat thread says, State needs to be held to the same standard going forward that folks hold Michigan to. State's track record over the last 15 years is better, but nobody holds them to any standard. Do you agree with that to some degree?
I do. I think Michigan State fans do. We hold them to a standard. We think they should be winning the Big Ten. We think they should be competing for Big Ten championships every year. That's what they are. Just because Michigan fans have the blinders on and don't see it, it's one thing. But yeah, and I see Michigan State loses their running back and nobody talks about them. Homers. You guys hold them to the same thing. We literally just said that. Like, it's going to be very hard for them to repeat the success.
But you got to rise up.
But you have to. You have to rise up. And I do think they will. I think they will. I think we'll be right around the same thing we did last year. It's going to be tough to beat Michigan this year for sure. But it's definitely possible.
You gave him one opportunity, Mel Tucker in the transfer portal. He found Kenneth Walker.
Yeah.
Like, give the guy 5 years.
And then replace Kenneth Walker.
Yeah, and he's got his guys. Next year, when you everybody sees that recruiting class, when you have those 24 stars that are coming, or whatever, it's not 20, but when all of those 4 stars are coming in, just wait until Mel Tucker gets his guys in. He's doing this with D'Antonio leftovers and transfer portal guys. Wait until Mel Tucker gets his guys in there, has them there for a couple years. Like, it's going to be scary.
That's truth.
And that's where it is. Dark Eyes 86, Michigan has to win the national title or will always be a disappointment. Well, it's been a disappointment for a long time then. Like, if that's the play. Mike G says Mel Tucker makes $100 million bafillion per season. Michigan State has to beat the Tom Brady Bucks to justify that payday. And Mike's little tongue in cheek right there.
Yeah.
But there is, and
that's why you pay him.
Yeah, and Dark Eyes 86, who's I think as a Michigan fan that says Harbaugh's massively underachieved in college football.
And there's a bigger sample size, too, with Harbaugh as well.
And there is, exactly. But that's the thing for me is, look, with Michigan State, if you hold your Spartans to that same standard, then a 7-5 season or 7-6 season or whatever, you'll be pissed about that.
That's very disappointing. Yes, I expect them to win at least 9 games. At least 9 games this year. Even with losing K9, with losing Speedy Naylor, I expect them to go out there and win 9 games. I don't think they're going to beat Ohio State. I think it's going to be tough to beat Michigan. I think Michigan will probably win this year, but I expect them to win at least 9 games.
And this stuff, too, like this talk about, and Mike G says Mel Tucker's $100 billion salary means that it's natty or bust every season. Mike, I don't think that's a case. That's just the market now.
Yeah.
Look around you. Look at what James Franklin's like. Look around you, dude.
It's a Michigan fans, man. It's you couldn't keep Saban. Look what happened to Saban. You couldn't keep, and then we pay a coach to keep him. And you're paying him too much. What are you doing?
Imagine if LSU paid him.
Yeah,
and now they'd be like, you couldn't even pay him. You went to LSU.
Exactly.
Get out of here, man.
Yeah, and it is. And look, like without getting like too deep in the woods from an X's and O's perspective. Here's the deal with Michigan State. Why I don't think that's acceptable, and why the expectation is to be in that New Year's Six conversation. You have 80% of it figured out. Your quarterback. You got Peyton. Peyton Thorne can sling the rock, man.
Yes,
he can, dude.
And he's got dudes. He's got dudes he can throw the football to.
I said it earlier. Jalen Reed is dark horse Blitnikoff guy. Like Sam said, it's not really dark horse, but nobody talks about him. This guy, all that guy does is make damn plays. He goes out there and he makes plays. You saw it against Michigan when it came down to it. You saw it against Penn State when it came down to that clutch moment. They were throwing it to Jaden Reed, and he was making the plays. And that's what he does. He's a fantastic receiver.
Malik Carr is a guy that I got my eye to be like kind of that dark horse, big time contributor. One. I think he's going to be there this year for Michigan State when it's all said and done. But again, that question mark. You can't have the worst secondary in the nation again.
Yes,
because Jeff, that's what they had. That's not my opinion. That's not what I think. They were statistically the worst secondary in all of college football.
Yeah, they were. But, again, you have a self-aware coach, and Mel Tucker, I think he acknowledged that. Out of everybody, they understand where their weaknesses are. And, again, it's 1 year. 2 years, if you want to count the COVID year. That's the most frustrating part about this. He's very early in the process. You don't think he's going to have a good secondary in 3 years? Come on. The guy's just not going to recruit corners. That's the thing I kind of shy away from. It's yes, you could nitpick things from Michigan State last year, but they're building, and they're going to build for longevity. They want to stay here. So I got a lot of confidence in both Michigan and Michigan State. I think we hold Michigan to different standards, but Michigan State, I certainly understand what they're doing. I mean, look it up. Look who they're getting in the recruiting, this entire recruiting process. It's damn impressive.
Right, and that's it is, but you got to do it though.
Yeah, you got to put it together.
We could talk about it here in August,
absolutely,
but you got to go do it in the fall, man.
Yeah,
and yeah, if you're going to go to that same standard, and I do think that. And Spencer, he's a fan. He says it's fair. I mean, to hold them. Then that's my expectation, Spencer. For Michigan State this year, my expectation is for them to be New Year's Six bowl eligible.
Yeah.
That's my Find a way.
Mm-hmm.
You're in the Big Ten. We keep talking about it. We keep talking about this conference.
Yeah. They should be. Yeah, they should be again fighting for that top 3 position in the Big Ten. It's if they don't finish top 3 in the Big Ten, it is disappointment. Like I said, I don't think they're going to beat. Obviously, I don't think they're going to beat Ohio State. I think Ohio State's going to go undefeated and win the national championship this year because they're pretty damn good.
Yeah, and it's one of those things too. Like with Michigan State and the schedule. Like the Washington thing, I'll never understand that. Like going out to the West Coast in a non-conference game, when very clearly you can get away with, they have Western and they have Akron. Clearly you could get away with, throwing a UConn on there too. I don't understand that.
Yeah.
Personally, I wouldn't do it because again, there's no penalty to doing it that way.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. And if you beat them, you beat Washington, who lost to Montana last year. You know what I'm saying? But you could lose because, it's a trip out west. It's tough. All you got to do is find a way to navigate that game. That's all you got to do.
For sure.
And that's what it boils down to. And then, don't trip up, but going to Maryland or going to Illinois or something like that, which has been the knock for Michigan State.
Yeah, it's you come off the win and you take a loss, and they have to play Penn State, they have to play Wisconsin, they have to play Michigan, they have to play Ohio State, which are 4 big games, the 4 best teams in the conference outside of Michigan State. So it's going to be tough, and yeah, we're gonna have to go in there. You're gonna have to go on the road, and you're gonna have to get things done. And I'm excited for it. I think this is gonna be a big test for them. But I expect Mel Tucker to coach these guys up, and the cream will rise to the top, and they'll end up finishing these games out with wins.
And I want to say that. And YT Sparty, I believe that's who it was. YT Sparty says Michigan State has a rough schedule. But when we talk about this Big Ten, with there being 3 teams, that's going to be the case, is you're going to get one of those games on the road. That's just the way that it's going to work out. And this year for Michigan State, Jeff, it's Michigan. They have to go into Michigan and win. So they have to find a way to do that. They got Ohio State coming there. Mm-hmm. This is the year they got to make their move, man.
Yeah, no. And it goes back to what Spencer said about expectations. They deserve to have expectations considering how well they played last season. And listen, 10 wins. You're coming off. I get you lost Kenneth Walker, but the expectations are still there, and that's what I respect about fans like Spencer. I mean, you could still say Spencer could have probably copped out and said, we're losing Kenneth Walker. I don't really have that big of expectations for us this year. No, he still expects to be a top 3 team in the Big Ten. So, kudos to you, Spence. Kudos to all MSU fans, man. Being realistic.
Thank you.
But Kenneth Walker was not just any loss. I think you guys are a little bit too flippant about
No, I never
it.
say it. No one's saying it's not a significant loss. He's just saying his expectations don't change.
And my thing is, you got to rise up, dude. Like, if you're a good program, these are the dudes you churn out, and you
Kenneth
go get another
Walker,
one.
You guys act like Mel Tucker. Coming. He's just going to find another one in the transfer portal. Kenneth Walker had the single greatest season by a Michigan State athlete, men's basketball and football, since Magic Johnson. When they beat Larry Bird. You don't just replace a guy like that. He beat Michigan by himself.
Yeah, and
Peyton Thorne was terrible in that game.
Sam, I would say back to that, that's the conversation we have about Aiden Hutchinson. Good luck getting 15 pressures against Ohio State. It's not happening. And that's kind of where the conversations align. It's like, yes, you lost Aiden, you lost Ajabo, you lost Daxton Hill, he lost Kenneth Walker. MSU did. But the expectations, to Neal's point, you still got to find a way to win, regardless. Maybe you find another Aiden Hutchinson or another Ajabo this year. Who knows? Because we didn't know about Hutchinson before last year that much in terms of nationally, so you never know. But to both of your points, it's not like we're saying that the loss isn't significant. We're just saying he has to find a way to replace him somehow. Not the yards he had, but the impact.
Yeah, if the loss wasn't significant, I'd say, hell yeah, we're beating Michigan. We're spanking them again. Right. But I don't think we're going to beat Michigan this year. I do think Michigan is a more talented team, and it's going to be tough. Obviously, I'm not 100% because they got to show us that they could beat Michigan State. But they're a more talented team this year, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Right, but they're usually more talented on paper,
and that's what I can't wait for. You guys,
look at this man's face. Look at he's got that look again.
We've been beating you guys with 3 stars and the occasional 4 stars through the run of D'Antonio up until this year. Wait until Tuck's guys come in and it's all 4 stars and a couple 5 stars sprinkled in. And what are you going to do then, huh? Come on, let's go.
Tim K in the YouTube chat thread. I'm sorry, but don't be surprised if Western Michigan pulls off the upset. Tim Lester's going to get fired after this year. This Western team is going to be bad this year.
Yeah.
Bad. He's going to get gassed. And look, I'm a big Mac quarterback slappy. I love him and stuff like that, but it ain't working, brother. And this could be the last ride for old Tim Lester. We will see. Hey, summer's winding down. There is no doubt about that. But the official drink of summer is as strong as ever. It's the Mulligan, made with Gypsy vodka. If you're out on the golf course, if you're out in the backyard, the Mulligan is calling your name. Ask for the Mulligan at a local golf course or roll up to a Total Wine store near you and cop a package of the Mulligan made with Gypsy vodka. Hey, maybe that's not your flavor. That's not what you do. Don't forget about the OG, the original Gypsy vodka as well, made in Petoskey. Go to the store. Ask for it by name. Gypsy vodka, the Mulligan. Just remember, they're 8%, so tread lightly. 8%. So the Mulligan, Gypsy vodka. Drink responsibly.
Ciabattas, summer salads, and dip shakes. All at Big Boy. Try a chicken club, chicken cordon bleu, or sunrise ham and cheddar. All on our grilled ciabatta bread. Or keep it light with our Michigan apple, chicken Caesar, or Greek salad. And don't forget to cool off with a frosty hand-dipped cookies and cream or strawberry shake. You heard it here first. Summer just got better.
We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m.
Detroit's downtown summer playground is back. Open all summer long, the Monroe Street Midway. Enjoy roller skating, free Wi-Fi, food trucks, art installations, and so much more. Don't forget to take advantage of the basketball court, putt-putt, and, of course, family programming all summer long. All art installations are done by Detroit artists, and it's a fun, safe event from people 1 to 100. Go to deckedoutdetroit.com.
Neal Ruhl here for Chili Peppers Tanning, where you can join the Pepper Club at Chili Peppers Tanning. Get all the best deals. They'll beat the competitors' prices by at least $5. You can take a look at all the unlimited tanning options as well. Chili Peppers Tanning has the hottest bulbs, the hottest deals, and the darkest tans, 26 locations, and more on the way. Go to chilipepperstanning.com to find out the location that works best for you. It's Chili Peppers Tanning, y'all. Back on and popping. All college football today, wall to wall. And, we're chopping it up. It's Michigan State taking center stage right now. YouTube chat thread. Get to your thoughts. Go blue. Spence's diabetes flaring up. Michigan State will never recruit at Ohio State or U of M level. Never. But, it's go blue. See, that's the narrative that a lot of you fall into. Harbaugh's only gotten 7 5-stars ever at Michigan. Ever. So, that's another narrative that needs to be kind of shut down. Look at the recruit. And I know that becomes a big pissing contest. And I don't see. Here's the thing. That's going to trigger somebody, and someone's going to come at me. I don't care about recruiting. I care about guys that are on campus playing in games. That's what I care about, because that's what matters. Now, I think that the Alabamas, the SEC schools of the world, have shown that, Juicy J, it is to your advantage to have as many 5-stars as you can.
Absolutely.
Because it's a numbers game, and the more you have, the more you have.
Mm-hmm. And the more that will come, because they see all these 5-stars coming.
Just for reference, Michigan will never recruit at the level of Ohio State.
Oh.
Ohio State's 4th in 2023 with a 5-star and 17 4-stars already. Michigan State is 20th in 2023 with 11 4-stars and 3 3-stars, and Michigan is 28th with 7 4-stars and 7 3-stars.
Can you repeat that again, Spence?
28th.
28th.
8 spots,
So wait. There are 8 spots behind you guys.
Yes.
But you're never going to out-recruit them.
Yeah,
Just don't forget that, Spence.
Yeah, I won't. I'll remember that.
Noma Hay says Michigan will have 4 really tough games, in my opinion. Ohio State, MSU, Iowa, and Penn State. No, those are 2 tough games.
Yeah.
I mean, conference road games are conference road games, but if you lose to Iowa or Penn State, it's embarrassing.
I mean, those are tough games, you can say, but you have to
win them.
I will not offer any excuses if they don't beat any team, honestly.
And Sam Flannel, look, you know me, right? I work in college sports. I know what that conference grind is like, and I'll be consistent with it. All you got to do is win them. Yeah. I don't need style points. I don't need double-digit wins or anything like that. You can be losing the whole game. You come back. It doesn't matter. You can't lose them because those teams stink.
I mean, as I've said, at the very least, they have to go into Ohio State undefeated. If you lose to Michigan State, Penn State, or Iowa, it is a complete failure of a season. And I will honestly start questioning my man Jim Harbaugh again if they do that.
Again.
Hey, yeah, true.
How much time did he buy with last year? A year? 2 years?
I think to the average fan, he bought 3, 4, maybe even a lifetime. But like I said,
really?
A lifetime?
I mean, that was a big win for him. I mean, he had to have it, or he might have even been gone after last year, honestly. It was the most important win of his life, including the NFC Championship game when they won to go to the Super Bowl. Biggest win of his life.
Easy, Sam Flannel. Yeah, it's going to the Super Bowl you're talking about,
but
man.
He is following in the footsteps of his idol, Bo Schembechler.
Who knows nothing about winning big games.
Hey, he beat Ohio State from time to time. I'll give him that.
2-8 in the Rose Bowl.
I'm not a Bo Schembechler slappy, so I'm not
2-8 in the Rose Bowl, and they built a statue of him, even though he fired Ernie Harwell.
That is egregious.
And he knew.
Yeah, that's very true.
I don't get into the weeds. I only go by what I can prove, and I can prove that he fired Ernie Harwell.
That's fair.
Why doesn't he get more public shame for that, dude? I know there's bigger issues out there, don't get me wrong, but why do we just gloss over that?
I don't know.
It's egregious.
It is egregious. It's Michigan fans, man.
Cody Engel says Harbaugh's got a bowl record like Bo. Michigan State week will be just... All I'm going to do is read the YouTube chat thread. That's it. From 11 to 1. It will be entertainment, Juicy J, to the point where it'll be great. I know. I wish I could make a shake out of it. I'll breathe it all in. I will. I'll just read it
directly into my lungs. All of it.
Yeah, it will. Mike G, the throw dirt on Bo's grave segment. What's wrong about what I said? Was he 2-8 in the Rose Bowl, Mike? Did he fire Ernie Harwell?
I mean, Ernie Harwell was kind of old, though. I'm not going to knock him for that.
You don't fire him. You find a way.
I mean, they did let Vince Scully go on pretty much until he was able to retire. So I get what you're saying. The more egregious thing is the Rose Bowl, but he did beat Ohio State consistently. That's the one thing I will give him credit for.
So there you go. Again, I don't deal in what we think. I deal in what we know. Neal, what's the name of the segment where you crap on Lou Gehrig? Why would I crap on Lou Gehrig? Again, Mike, what's incorrect? The following statement. Bo Schembechler, 2-8 in the Rose Bowl. Bo Schembechler fired Ernie Harwell. What's incorrect about that? Where am I wrong? Where's the speculation on my part? Where am I, quote, crapping on his grave? It's what he did. Where am I wrong? Tell me, Mike. You guys help me. Where am I wrong? What's factually incorrect about that? Anybody?
Nothing.
Anybody in the room?
Nope. I don't have a pushback.
Sam Flannel, can you confirm the man's Rose Bowl record? Please.
2-8.
So it is 2-8.
Yeah. 5-12 in bowl games.
Okay.
Overall. It's okay. He beat Ohio State lots. I mean, he was one of the best coaches in school history, but he does get overrated and sort of deified in a way that I've never personally understood for what he actually accomplished.
Mega Professionals. Michigan's 42-15 all-time versus Iowa. Right, because Iowa stinks.
That's why you got to beat them. That's why even if it is a tough game, even if it is on the road, if Michigan loses to Iowa, I will offer no excuses and I'll come in, ready to raise hell and probably off of a bender.
Yeah.
It's always off of a bender.
Mike G, here we go. Easy button. Rip Michigan segment young. Go ahead and participate in this podcast. Mike, dude, I say it and you get mad about it. Like I did it. I didn't go 2-8 in the Rose Bowl. He did. That's it, man. I don't know what else to say. But we have been talking Big Ten football, obviously with Michigan State. This whole discussion, though, and again, if you go into the lines, if you look at, if you look at what people are saying, the prognosticators, and certainly that the way the schedule is lined up, Ohio State. I'll go to both of you, the Michigan fan, the Michigan State fan. What about them? What about them terrifies you, Sam Flannel? Is it the fact that Michigan beat them? Is it that wide receiving core? Is it C.J. Stroud? What is it?
It's that offense. I don't know if they've ever had a collection of offensive talent that they've had with C.J. Stroud, Travion Henderson, and Jackson Smith and Jigba. Although, last year you could argue they did as well with Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave. But this year, I think Travion Henderson is going to break out and be a superstar running back. And that offensive line, they have another year. They're coming off of getting bullied by the Michigan State defense. They have 3 future pros. I just think this offense is going to be a well-oiled machine. And Spencer, to you, Michigan State took one of the most biblical ass whoopings to last year's Ohio State team that I ever saw from a 10-win team. I mean, you got to admit that was brutal.
Yes, that was terrible. It was awful to watch. I cried a little bit, but I knew it was going to happen because their secondary is awful and they had one of the best passing attacks that the NCAA has seen in a long time. So it's scary. It hurts. It hurt my heart to watch. I hope I never have to see anything like that ever again.
Juicy J, what do you got, man? I mean, this is the Ohio State show. Where do you see this? How do you see this going as far as the Big Ten goes this year?
And listen, Ohio State, they're going to be damn good. I agree with Sam. I'm not going to sit here and say anything different. I think you might have question marks defensively, but certainly if they can get any better than last year, they're going to be just fine. And offensively, to your point, Sam, that is an offense. If you want to just talk about their offense, they're going to make in my opinion, the college football playoff this year. Last year, you talk about A. Hutchinson, you talk about that game against Michigan. It'll be different this year, I believe. And I think C.J. Stroud, another year under his belt. And like Spence said earlier, like it's a revenge tour. I really believe that. I think it's a different motivation. I think that's what Ryan Day is going to preach to these guys as well. And you have Jackson Smith, the Jigba, coming off last year, now really being the center of attention this year. Marvin Harrison, Trayvon Henderson, you already mentioned it. It's going to be scary.
Dude, Trayvon Henderson, man, could win the Heisman, bro.
He could.
No one's talking about him around here. Nobody is. Like he can be. Him and Donovan Edwards might be two of the best running backs in America.
Both in the Big Ten, and I think that's why.
And he's going to get every carry for Ohio. They're not going to do the foolishness like Michigan's going to do.
No,
like they're going to give it to their dude.
And the fact that we haven't even talked about him, it means how good their offense is. Like you get to C.J. Stroud, Marvin Harrison, Jackson Smith-Njigba, then you get to Trayvon Henderson, which I think will be the best player on Ohio State this year next to Jackson.
C.J. Stroud and Jackson Smith-Njigba, they're going to end up the greatest quarterback-receiver duo in Big Ten history by a margin that will never be beat. And as far as Trayvon Henderson and Donovan Edwards being the best running backs in the nation, there's a guy named Bijan Robinson who I think has entered the chat.
No doubt.
Bijan Robinson. He might have even been better than Kenneth Walker last year. He just got hurt.
The problem is Donovan Edwards isn't going to get the usage.
No, and that will actually bother me almost as much as if they start Cade McNamara. If they try to make Blake Corum like the feature back, because he just doesn't have that in him. I think he's more of a dash, kind of like a change of pace, big play guy. But Donovan Edwards, I think he might be the number one running back prospect coming out of the Big Ten since Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, Bijan Robinson's a real deal, man. He is.
No doubt. And
but still, the fact that you have 2 and 3 in the Big Ten, it speaks a lot.
I think the Michigan's offensive line is the best unit in the Big Ten. Like best, you look at all the defensive lines. You know what I'm saying, like unit, like wide receiver room, anything like that. I think Michigan's offensive line is probably the best unit in the Big Ten.
No one's talking. Listen, I haven't heard too many discussions about that as well.
I mean, that Victor Olawatimi, that is one of the biggest transfer gets in the country. You lose Vastardis and you plug right in somebody who is much better than him. Look out.
Mm-hmm.
And the YouTube chat thread, Mike G says, I'm afraid of C.J. Stroud in the air raid attack, but once you expose the Ohio State offensive line and those tackles, you got to get to C.J. and spin his helmet around. That's the key. Boy, well, I mean, that and again, that goes really for everybody, right? Like every big-time offense, you got to make the quarterback uncomfortable. And that's like, we talk about that all the time, and that's the only way to do it. But what sets them apart this year, what sets Ohio State apart offensively, Trayvon Henderson will be dynamic. You're going to watch this dude. You're going to see him, in the beginning of that season, watch him just light Notre Dame up. Watch.
Yeah.
Watch.
Dude averaged 7 yards per carry.
That's what about Ohio State? So they have a Heisman contender on all 3 levels. Literally, C.J. Stroud, Trayvon Henderson, Jackson Smith, and Jigba are all
pick your poison.
Like 3 of, if not the best, the second best at their position in the entire NCAA. So
Ohio State's to lose this year, in my opinion.
Yeah, and again, the Big Ten is what it is. They got one road game. They got to go to Michigan State, which I think the Spartans fans will be properly fueled for that one.
Oh, yeah, blacked out. Blacked out before the game starts.
Neal Ruhl here for the Sports Marketing Agency. They help spread awareness about mental health and substance abuse disorder. Their podcast is called This is the F Word. It's a series on fentanyl and other addictions that, let's be real, everyone, are plaguing our communities today. Go to thesportsma.com. Hey, if you're struggling, if you know someone else who's struggling, thesportsma.com, the Sports Marketing Agency, they're here to help.
The Sports Marketing Agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zuniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
What's going on, everybody? It's Spencer for the Fulling Warehouse in Hamtramck. You know it, you've heard of it. It's the home of the original football bowling pin game called Fulling. Multiple different ways you can play. They have $12 open unlimited play. We can stay there open until close, have a good time. They also have private lane reservation, $120, 10 to 12 people. You get your own lane, and you can bring in any type of food you want. If you get thirsty, they have a $2 mystery beer vending machine. You pop in $2, pops you out a good beer, no hassle, no fuss needed. If you know what you want or you want to make a decision, there's multiple fully loaded bars for you to choose from. So come on down to Hamtramck, check them out in person, or visit them online at fullingwarehouse.com. Again, that is fullingwarehouse.com.
Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, the smooth, mellow groove.
Yeah.
Spencer on the ones and twos. Sam Flannel here in the house. Jeff Iafrate in for Darren McCarty. My name is Neal Ruhl. Happy all are with us coming on the stretch on a Tuesday. College football, we did it this weekend.
Woo!
Hawaii, Saturday night, hosting Vanderbilt. Woo! Get in, everybody. Get in.
Right?
Hawaii football.
You doing a get right for week one?
Well, hey, we got to see on Friday.
All right.
We got to see on Friday.
It's going to be like Sam Flannel coming off a bender.
Yep.
That's Neal
Absolutely.
Ruhl with the mustard-stained shirt.
The Get Right special documented 17-6.
Yeah.
I've bailed you out 17 times.
Thank goodness for Neal, man.
Hey, again, it's my special duty that I like to perform for everyone. And for those of you that don't know, we got a lot of new listeners, watchers, viewers, all that kind of stuff. It's the Neal Ruhl Get Right special. I launch it on Fridays. It's always there's some protocols to it. It has to be a late night Saturday game. Okay? That's number one. Number two, only use it. This is where old Uncle Neal's here to save you. Only use it if you got beat up a little bit during the day. Like if it's one of those things where you go 0-5, old Uncle Neal's going to get you to 1-5, but break even. Let's just say it like that. I'm going to get you right. 17-6. It's madness when you think about it.
No, it's
7. Who goes 17-6?
It's unheard of for you to get right. I mean, that's why you call it the Get Right special. You tune in, you get right, and you leave a much happier man than when you walked in.
Absolutely. You're disgruntled, right? Like you were getting killed on Saturday. Your noon games, you went 0 for. Your 3:30 games that you tried to chase it a little bit, you went 0 for. Here comes old Neal Ruhl. Now, you got to work a little bit to get it. Usually it's a CBS Sports Network. Sometimes Hawaii games were on Facebook Live. You got to work a little bit to. I'm not just giving you the ESPN one. I'm going with what I know, and I am going to get you right. The away fan, you've never steered me wrong, Neal. There you have it. Unsolicited advice for everybody else. I do my part, and I take this stuff serious. I'm up sweating them with you. I think this year we're going to do the old live tweeting.
Live show, yeah.
I think that's in order. What else do you want other than a Get Right video update at 2 a.m. as we go into the fourth quarter when Hawaii's hosting San Jose State? You want that in your life.
Yeah, for sure.
Old Uncle Neal, get you right. Robert Colosia, can we get the Mountain West forecast now? Robert, we're arranging a schedule to get some Mountain West participants in later on in the week. We're working on that as we speak. We're going to get there. This isn't like the only college football show we're doing. We got some other stuff. We'll take a look at national stuff and everything that's going on. This conference realignment, though, and I keep hearing people, Jeff, bring it up in the YouTube chat thread, right? Like we're throwing slings and arrows about recruiting and Michigan recruiting against Ohio State recruiting against Michigan State recruiting, everything like that. Mm-hmm. And I keep seeing people bring it up. Wait till USC gets here, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They're going to be in there. And Lincoln Riley and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah, they are.
Do you guys like this? Do we like this? Big Ten fans, college football fans, they're already doing the overtures about Oregon's doing the feasibility study, which basically is, let me let you in on what that means. When a university hires someone to do a feasibility study, that's where they get friends of theirs that work at a research firm or a consulting firm, where they pay them an exorbitant amount of money to do a, quote, feasibility study about something they're going to do anyway. So that's just bringing you up to speed with what that means. You get how that works. Oregon's doing the feasibility study, which means they're coming.
Right.
Which means they're going to be in soon. The answer would be who else comes with them to kind of keep that in mind. Do you guys like this?
I think as a consumer, I do. I've always been progressive when looking at changes in just sports in general. I think with the Big Ten and what's happening just in college football, in the landscape of college football, I'm here for it. I like it. And I guess if you're a Michigan fan or an Ohio State fan or whatever it is, and you're looking at USC entering the Big Ten, you might think to yourself, oh no. Because I think USC with Lincoln Riley, they have a chance to become a contender. Not only that, but win a national championship. So for me as a consumer, Neal, I like it. I don't have an issue with it. It's better for business. It's better for these guys' pockets. But not only that, just taking a different angle from it. As a consumer, I don't have an issue with it. And if you're a fan of a specific school and you have an issue with it, then of course there's bias. But for me, I don't have any ties to any college, especially in the Big Ten. So I'm good, Neal. I'm all good.
And, it's one of those things, too, and I think that this is a great point here by Dominator. Name, image, and likeness changed college football, so anything after that is whatever. And, look, we had those shows, right, where we go back and we get in the weeds, and should the college football players be paid? And, then there's the camp of, well, they get a scholarship, and that's payment enough. And I had to pay for my school and stuff like that, which I had to pay for my school, too. But, I didn't have a talent that only 0.001% of the population has either. So that's the difference in all of that. But Tribe and Whelan says, when's the realignment supposed to happen? That's 2024, right?
Yep.
Kick off 2024 season. So that's what it is. Namahe says, USC in the Big Ten, yes, I love it. Frank Daniel says, no, not the Lincoln Riley train. And that's what we're getting right now, right? We're getting that Lincoln Riley train.
Yeah. I mean, he's the real deal, man. I'm all in on USC and Lincoln Riley. I think another school that I would like to join as well would be Stanford. If you want to keep that education stigma in the Big Ten, then bring on Stanford. Bring them all. I'm cool with it.
And so we talked about that, and for me, I think it's got to be like a Washington, somewhere up there. You need a Texas team, so whether that's Houston, TCU, Texas Tech, one of those three, and then somewhere else in the mid. Maybe another Southern, maybe Miami.
Yeah,
maybe you get you need a Florida team too.
If it were me, how I would do this, if I'm getting Oregon, I would either get Cal or I would get Washington.
Yeah,
one of the two. Or Stanford, whatever. I think that this whole UCLA, and this is just me spitballing here, I think this whole UCLA kind of pushback from their board of regents and stuff like that, I think it's a ploy to get the Big Ten to take Cal, too.
Yeah.
That's what I think that it is. So I would get Cal, you get that Oakland, San Jose State, or San Jose television market there. You get Oregon, I would add Washington, and then I would go Houston, TCU also, and then I would go Miami and Georgia Tech.
Would you rather have Baylor or Houston?
Houston.
Yeah, bigger market.
Yep. And and again, guys, it doesn't matter that no one in Texas likes Houston.
Yeah.
It matters that the Big Ten Network's on 5 million televisions.
Yeah, it'll be on every bar in Houston.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
Yeah, that's what you look at.
And that's my Georgia Tech argument. I don't care that they stink. They're in downtown Atlanta.
Yeah.
So that's another 3 million homes the Big Ten Network's on. And I know it's Miami, and no one cares about anything in Miami, but whatever.
It's the U.
It's another 2 million households that get the Big Ten Network in South Florida.
Right.
You see me working here. You see where I'm going. And I don't care. Like the Notre Dame thing, they're not make or break for me. Like I would take, for me, Neal Ruhl, the businessman, I would take TCU and Houston way before I took Notre Dame. Bold statement, I know.
I think Notre Dame should just be left to die by itself because they're a bunch of losers.
And actually, you're not crazy. I think if you're the businessman, that's what you said, Neal, the businessman. That makes sense. And I think even Georgia Tech makes sense because, listen, I lived in Atlanta for a couple of years, and I know how much Georgia Tech means to that city. I mean, Georgia, you have Georgia Tech. And you get Georgia Tech, that's a big grab for the Big Ten. So I'm on board with it, Neal.
Yeah. Brandon says Oregon and Utah fit well. Utah does nothing for me, man. There's no television market there. I don't care what they do on the football field.
Those Mormons.
We've proven. And, it's one of those things where, people are talking about YT Sparty says UCLA hasn't been relevant for a long time. YT doesn't matter. They're in LA.
Yeah.
The price of the Big Ten network on the cable packages there overnight went from 11 cents to 68 cents.
Price of a brick going up.
White tan bricks.
Yeah.
All white bricks.
All white bricks. Yeah.
But that's what it is, though. Sure. It's a market, and it doesn't matter. Like, I don't know what it's going to take for us to get over this. The teams don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
None of this matters. I don't know when we're going to get to that point. Juicy J, you have great hair. How? Why?
I'll tell you how to get to that point, Neal. You come over to Lady Jane's because they have an award-winning haircut experience, and you could register for once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win the car of your dreams from Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. You walk in anytime. No appointment necessary. It's wicked awesome.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello? Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Hi, I'm John from Better Rate Mortgage, and to me, family is more than blood. That's why I have the biggest family in Metro Detroit. If you're looking to buy a house or refinance and need a loan, come get treated better than family by me and our entire team here at Better Rate Mortgage. We pride ourselves on giving you better advice, better service, and a better loan experience. That's why we are Better Rate. If you're looking for a new mortgage, come get treated like family. Actually, better with Better Rate Mortgage. Visit us at mybetterrate.com or call at 248-480-4467 today.
Neal Ruhl here for oddstrader.com, the number one site for all of your game day betting activity, play-by-play updates, live scores as they happen, and most importantly, the best price on every game for multiple sports books right there in front of you. There's no opening up one app on your phone, closing that one out, go to another app to see if the price is better there. Oh, no, it's not. Let's try the other one. Open that one up. Okay, yeah, this price better. Let me go back. Oh, man, the line moved. Now what do? Let's go to the fourth. None of that. oddstrader.com. Price at all the sports books right there in front of you. You can make moves. You can be like Sam Flannel out there making moves in the business community. If I'm going to get you right, you got to have the proper tools. oddstrader.com right now. And go find your best bet. Coming down the stretch, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. And, we got the Chubby Charlie's Pickle Pizza. And I got some videos on social media.
Yeah.
It struck a chord with people, man. Like, it motivated them to go try it.
Rake brought it in last Friday for me and Easy and some of the guys. And just as good as it was the first time I had it.
Changed my whole perspective on pizza.
Yeah.
No doubt. I'm
a pizza guy, man. And
it was a banger.
I'm a pickle guy and I'm a pizza guy, so it's just the best of both worlds.
Pickle guy.
Big pickle guy.
Happy to have you guys with us here today. And guys, I don't think you're understanding. We're talking about the conference realignment right now because big college football day today. It's one of those things where I don't know where the disconnect is. Like Chuck Brewer gets it. He says Notre Dame adds no new eyes, and Chuck, you're right. You already have the Big Ten Network at all Notre Dame fans in Indiana. They're already paying for it. You got to get new places. Because AC says, what about the history of Notre Dame? Neal, doesn't matter. None of this stuff matters anymore, guys. You got to stop looking at it from a fan perspective. Yeah, you got to stop looking at it from a fan's perspective and start looking at it from a business perspective. Because Prag Patel says Georgia Tech isn't a very big draw in Atlanta. This is SEC country. Doesn't matter. Prag, if you're a cable subscriber, you're going to pay 58 cents or 70 cents or whatever the number is for the Big Ten Network in Atlanta if they brought Georgia Tech in. You are. You don't know it, but you are. For real. You're just going to get your bill one day, and it's going to be 70 cents more, and you're not even going to notice. And you're just going to move on. And, it's one of those things where Brandon Katz says the SEC owns the South. The Big Ten's much better off with Notre Dame than Southern team. See, Brandon, no, they're better off with a Southern team where the Big Ten Network isn't on yet. That's all this is, guys. That's why you can kind of see how this is going to go down. And I'll tell you one step further, how I would roll this, Juicy J, from a business perspective. I'm going to go to Washington and say, look, we're going to give you a 75% cup. You're not getting a full share. You're getting 75%. Because do you want 75% of what we got, or do you want all of what the Pac-12's giving you?
And they say, yup, I'm coming. And I think, listen, that's the next move. They're not done. In Washington, that's another market you could check off. So I'm all in for it, man.
Yeah, and that's what it is, man. Mike G says Big Ten expansion gives me the chubby Charlie. Pickle pizza, yeah. Yeah. Brandon says Notre Dame has far more fans in Indiana. Notre Dame Big Ten adds a lot of new viewers. Less than 1% of Notre Dame fans are in Indiana. Yes, but Brandon, you're missing the boat here, man. Their revenue generator is the Big Ten Network. You add Notre Dame, where's the market that you're adding it? You know what I'm saying? This is getting it market by market. That's the way that this plays. The national thing's tricky, which you do have it covered because of that big raise you got with your national television contract. So, are we cool with this, though? Because that's the way that it's going, and you guys know how this is going to end up. There's going to be two conferences, essentially. They'll break away from the NCAA, which I'm fine with. I thought the SEC should have done that 10 years ago.
Yeah, agreed. NCAA sucks. They're all corrupt anyways.
Yeah, like I talked about with the search firms.
Yeah,
really weird how some of those get chosen. So yeah, that's my question. It's just one of those things where Doughboy Steve says, "I'm tired of paying for the Big Ten Network," but you're paying for it.
Well, too bad.
Right, but you're paying for it. And again, Juicy J. Do we hate it? Deep down, do you hate it or no?
No, I don't.
Do you hate where it's going to end up?
No, because I think ultimately this is what needs to happen, especially with the NIL and how things are moving in college football. I have no problem with it, Neal. Do you? From a consumer...
from a consumer perspective, it's professionalizing it to a degree.
Yes,
which,
it is.
Look at my field. So I'm in sports media. I'm a play-by-play announcer. The bigger TV contracts, the better for me.
Right.
Because you know what? The trickle-down economics of that work pretty well, if you know what I'm saying.
Everybody eats.
Yeah, that second furnace ain't going to replace itself, Spence. But, there is the traditionalist, and I don't have a lot of traditionalists in me. You know what I'm saying? I don't... Just because things have been done that way doesn't mean that that's the way that they need to be done. And if you're innovative, I support being innovative and stuff like that. But there is a part of me that gets kind of sad about it in that it's going to become an invitational, and the stakeholders are the invited, and you're not going to see I like the Boise State stories and stuff like that. I like the dark horse. I like the Cincinnati's coming in there, and I thought, for all intents and purposes, showed themselves pretty well. I think that Cincinnati was on a level that anybody else was.
Right.
They beat Notre Dame at Notre Dame. They did everything that you can ask somebody to do. I'm sad that that's going to go away. I am.
And that's fair. I think from that point of view, yes, I would agree with you there. But in terms of being a consumer of college football, I like it. I think it's progressive, and I'm all here for it.
Blue turf is fun. I agree, Mike G. Blue turf.
Who doesn't like the blue turf?
The blue turf is awesome.
Went there a couple times. We played it. Yeah, we played at Boise State a couple times. We went in the football field. Got the picture on the blue turf. It was pretty cool.
You have to.
We're playing there again this year, as a matter of fact. We'll be going to Boise State. So, that'll be good. Oklahoma State coming into town this year too at the Arena.
Hell yeah.
We got a little stretch there.
Get Malcolm down there.
We host Oklahoma State and then we host Eastern in the same week.
Oh.
With Amani Bates.
Yeah. And
if his grade stuff's in order.
Yeah.
From what I've been told.
There was another big Rocket Watts. You guys play Michigan State too, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, that'll be at Breslin. So yeah, we got a nice little schedule going with some storylines.
For sure.
Trying to take the series against Oklahoma State.
That would be sweet.
Yeah, we'll have to hit. I think. Man, are we hosting Oklahoma State on a Sunday? Maybe it's a Monday. I can't remember. Hopefully it's a Monday.
Yeah.
We'll get Cade and we'll get Malcolm Rodriguez out there.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Hell yeah.
No doubt.
We'll have them in the heavyweights merch. They want them.
Do they really?
They want them, yeah.
Oh, but where do they get the merch, by the way, for the heavyweight fans out there?
You can go check out the link in my bio on Twitter. My Twitter is @SpenmoRax. The link is in the bio. It's Easy's website, and we're selling the heavyweights merch on there, so you can go get it from there if you like. It's a sick shirt, too. Very sick shirt.
Absolutely. Brandon, Utah's a better ad for the Big Ten than a crap program in a bigger TV market. Hard stop right there, Brandon. No, they're not. It doesn't matter. Utah doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what kind of football you play. We're past that. It does not matter. It matters how many people will pay for the Big Ten network. That's it. That's it. That's all. Don't be mad at me, man. I didn't make it this way. That's just the way that it got, all by itself.
That's just the way it is.
Yeah, hey, summer's winding down, as we said, but it's still the summer of Cintron, too. Cintron available at your local Kroger. I look out across Woodward. There's a Kroger right there. There's Cintron at that Kroger, as a matter of fact. And look, if you're a collector, the Red Wings, they're the official energy drink of the Detroit Red Wings. They have a limited edition Red Wings 6-pack. You can buy that at CintronWorld.com/Red Wings. The new energy drink for the active lifestyle. Drink it. Live it with Cintron.
Why wait?
New to the game or a season better? OddsTrader.com has everything you need to make the right bet ahead of kickoff. Begin your handicapping journey with OddsTrader. Improve your edge by finding the best price on every game from sportsbooks in your backyard. Take advantage of the numerous sign-up bonus offers to pad your bankroll. Dive into key game statistics, player performance, and even account for the projected game day weather. Best of all, you can use the OddsTrader Bet Tracker to keep a log of your action. Welcome to OddsTrader, and best of luck.
We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m.
Hey, this is Mr. Kearney, Chief Academic Officer at Academy of Warren. I want to welcome you to the brand new field house. The state-of-the-art facility has a regulation basketball court, volleyball court, soccer field. It can be used for 7-on-7 football. Our K-8 academic features AM, PM, latchkey, small classroom sizes, Learning Street, futuristic media center, free breakfast and lunch, Holton Mifflin curriculum, academic games, K-8 athletics, and more. Enroll today at academywarren.net.
Neal Ruhl here for the Monroe Street Midway. Grab your favorite jersey and join us down at the Monroe Street Midway this Thursday, August 25th, for a Jersey Thursday roller skating party. Our very own Woodward heavyweights will be there. You guys look awkward on skates?
I know. I can skate.
You got that?
I can skate, for sure.
You're not too top heavy for that?
No, not at all. I'm born skating.
I love it. Spencer Raxter.
Yeah.
The Woodward Heavyweights will be broadcasting live from the Rollout Detroit roller rink with a Jersey theme party starting immediately after the DJ with a Jersey giveaway. Mark your calendars. Join the Woodward Heavyweights and the rest of the Woodward crew for a Jersey Thursday, August 25th at the Monroe Street Midway. Back at it. Final segment of the show, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neal Ruhl, Jeff Iafrate here for D-Max and Flannel, Spencer Raxter as well. Got a lot of things accomplished here today. Question for you, though, the Jersey Thursday, Spence.
Yeah.
You're going to go Malcolm Rodriguez, or do you got something special for him?
I was thinking Malcolm Rodriguez. I might go Syracuse Mello. I might go Cade, but it'll probably be Malcolm.
You got to.
Got to be on brand.
Yeah, I got to be on brand. I've already worn it 3 times.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll probably go Malcolm. I got the McDonald's All-American Kobe though.
That's pretty strong. If I get out there, I might rock the Jason Maxiel game-used Pistons jersey.
Young Suss is gonna wear either his Blake Griffin or his Josh Smith jersey.
Keep that Josh Smith one at home.
What would you rock, Juicy J? Can you let Josh Smith live? By the way, let that man live. It's over.
Yeah, no, it's over.
And he was a good dude, man.
He was a good dude. That matters for me. I got a couple. I'm still disappointed. I bought a Killian jersey right when he was drafted. I have a LeBron jersey. I went to a Cavs game and watched LeBron in person. I have a Cavaliers. They had it for one season. Might rock the LeBron. Might rock the Killian. I do have. I'm getting one right now. I'm waiting on it to get here, but it's the Kobe jersey where it's 8 and 24 on both sides, and it's like the Black Mamba edition. So, Kobe jerseys. I'd wear the All-American if I were you.
Also, you guys, we're doing a little contest down there, and you can win a free Woodward Heavyweights Deadweight T-shirt. First person to score on Young Sus in the paint.
We can't enter, right?
No, you can't enter.
Right.
Gets the Deadweights T-shirt. So come down there. If you dunk on him, we will bring you on the show.
You get a contract.
Yeah, remember, this guy is 6'6". Like, he's a big dude. So, but yeah, first person to score on him in the paint will win a free T-shirt.
I love that, man. That's awesome.
I do like it. No, I would probably I would rock that. I would rock my Max Steel one or my Nikola Jokic. I do have a Nikola Jokic. I'm big basketball jersey at the beach.
Yeah, I could wear my Kristaps Knicks jersey. I got the Kristaps Porzingis Knicks jersey.
What about you, Sam Flannel? What jersey would you be rocking?
I don't own a single jersey.
Really?
But if I did, it would probably be a LeBron 6 Heat jersey when he was at the absolute peak of his powers. 2012, 2013 LeBron is the single best basketball player that ever existed.
Yeah, it's the scariest LeBron I've ever seen in my life.
Real quick, couple mailbag questions here. Detroit Dabber 313 mailbag. Neal, why are Louisville City FC fans so dense? I don't know. They weren't happy. Wyatt Bear says, Neal, was the DCFC penalty a bad call or the worst call ever? It was pretty bad. I'll just say it like that. I got a text from Adam Baydoun when it happened. I was there in the booth. He was beside himself. It was great. Honolulu Blue Sparty, no one will rock a Tom Kennedy jersey. Would you, if he makes a team, will you get a Tom Kennedy jersey? Sam
Absolutely not. You can maybe like do a bet with me, but not a Tom Kennedy jersey. Wouldn't be caught dead in that.
The away fan says, I'd wear my Fedorov jersey. I have a Fedorov All-Star one that I would consider rocking.
I got the 2014 Winter Classic Datsuk jersey, the cream ones.
Yeah.
Those are sick.
Yeah, absolutely. So Juicy J. Easy said, I want to see Jeff versus Sus so bad right now. How would that work out?
So if he ain't posting me up, it's barbecue.
It's got to be in the paint. You got to score on him in the paint.
Dude, it's 6'6". I could score on him in the paint.
That's the point. We're not giving it out for free.
I thought he meant 1-on-1.
Maybe 1-on-1.
That's what I
you're
meant.
Cooking it 1-on-1.
Yeah. No, but to the thing you guys are doing, I'll give it a try. I won't even have to win. I just want to try.
Okay.
I want to see if I can score on Sus in the post.
Mike G has a question. I'll direct this one for Sam Flannel. Can Jeff Okuda cover Tom Kennedy?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, Jeff Okuda is a bust, and I don't expect him to be much, but he can absolutely cover Tom Kennedy. Come on, get out of here with that.
Burnsy, mailbag. Neal, I missed it. What was your opinion on MSU's 2023 recruiting class so far? And look, I admit, like, I'm not the most up on recruiting because it doesn't impact me until they're on campus or until we're playing them or until they're playing for the team I work for, stuff like that. So, I mean, like, I'm certainly aware that he's doing some pretty big things, and they gave him that contract extension, so they're expecting a lot out of it.
We have 11 4-stars already committed, and there's like 6 more that haven't signed yet.
Mm-hmm. So, I assume he might have been talking about basketball. I don't know.
Oh, basketball, basketball even more. Basketball is popping,
Yeah, no doubt. So, I'm aware of it, no question. I mean, we'll see how does it end up, how many of them end up on campus, how many end up playing in a game. So, that's one of those things. Someone else asked would I wear a Virginia T-shirt. Herman Moore, baby.
Yeah, absolutely.
Track star Herman Moore, too.
It's funny you said something that I didn't know about you, Neal. You're a basketball jersey on the beach kind of guy?
100%.
Man, that's why I love you, Neal. That's me. That's me. I'm out there with a jersey on.
It's perfect. It's it's perfect for the beach.
It's the vibe, man. It's the vibe.
You still get some sun, but if you don't want your shoulders to absolutely cook. It gives you enough coverage on the shoulders a little bit there.
Yeah.
I've got the Melo OKC jersey, I've got the Melo Syracuse jersey, and I've got the Melo Knicks nickname jersey where it says Melo on the back instead of Anthony.
I love that.
Oh, God.
It's fire. It's all black. It's a fire jersey.
Do you got the one he wore in the NBA Finals?
No. I was Hoodie Mellow for Halloween one year.
That's
got a lot of love at Michigan State.
You don't have like the game used one from the NBA Finals?
No, I don't.
That'd be a collector's item, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Can't you at least get a Nuggets one, or did I miss that? You got to get a Nuggets one.
No, I don't have a Nuggets one.
Really? That was where he was at the peak of his
powers. I
wanted
to get a Trailblazers one really bad. I like the Trailblazers.
Get a Melo Lakers jersey.
The Rip City.
Low key, the Trailblazers jerseys are pretty good. I'm not going to lie to you.
For sure.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie to you. Well, hey, Juicy J, I know you got Preston to duty today. Appreciate you, man.
Oh, always. Thank you guys for letting me come on.
Yeah, absolutely. Love working with you. Sam Flannel, sometimes I love working with him. Do love working with Spencer as well. But hey, appreciate y'all tapping in to Big D Energy right here on the Woodward Sports Network. Thanks for watching. Listen, everybody. Well, see you later.